Hi guys, and welcome to lesson 3 of Mr. G's Idiot's Guide to Composing and Arranging. So we're going to build on some of the things that we did last lesson. So we're going to look at the little tune that we composed last lesson. So rather than doing new score, at this tab at the top we can click on recent, and you'll see two things here that I've been working on. Obviously there's lesson 2, and there's an arrangement I've been doing, a Marriage of Figaro Overture by Mozart, which we might come on to in a couple of lessons. But for the moment we're going to click on lesson 2. And that should open. Right, and there's the tune that we ended up with at the end of lesson 2. So it was a little 16-bar tune with a modulation in C major with a modulation to A minor. A simple little tune, nothing special. Now, one of the things I wanted to just show you at the start of this lesson was a very easy way of adding dynamic markings to your piece to make it a little bit more interesting. Now, as your orchestrations get bigger, you'll find the dynamics. Sibelius will play the dynamics, but on a simple treble stave part like this, they might not be so noticeable. But anyway, let's see. So say, for example, you're writing this piece. You want the person playing it to start playing a nice mezzo forte moderate dynamic. Now what we do is we hold down, click on the note, the first note there, so it goes blue. We hold down Command and we tap the E letter for expression, and a line appears there. Okay, now with the Command still held down, and this is important, we just type in MF and then we tap Escape as always, and there we have that first dynamic. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now let's do a change of dynamics. Say when we go to this minor section, let's make it go a little bit quieter, so maybe mezzo piano MP. So again, we click on the note, hold down Command and tap E on your keyboard for expression, and keeping Command held down, we type in MP, tap Escape, and there we have it. And then at the end we'll go back to Command E, mezzo forte, tap Escape. Now, like I say, on this simple treble clef tune, it might not be so noticeable, mezzo piano to mezzo forte, but once we start adding more parts, it will be. Okay, so that's a simple way of adding dynamics. Now if you want to put in crescendos and diminuendos, well, that's straightforward as well. So say, for example, we wanted to do a crescendo back up from mezzo piano to mezzo forte over this bar. We tap on the, click on the first note, and we just tap H for some weird reason, but it is, the shortcut is H, and that appears. Now you notice a little tiny box which we can click and drag to create our classic hairpin getting louder. If we want to do the opposite and make this bar get quieter down to the mezzo piano, we click on the first bar, we just hold down Shift and H, and there it does the opposite. Okay, so what we've learned there is inputting dynamics, Command E for expression, and hold down Command and type it in, and then H for a crescendo, Shift H for a diminuendo. Okay, so that is pretty straightforward, and we can now dead easily put in dynamics and things like that. I mean, there are other little ideas you can pop in just from our keyboard. Like, for example, if you wanted an accent, to the note to be attacked a little bit at the beginning of each phrase, you click on the note and you just tap accent. Yeah, same as if you wanted to make a couple of the notes shorter, staccato, click on it, staccato. Okay, so that's accents, staccatos we can put in. Okay, so that's pretty good, a good starting point. But what I really want to get onto today is to start to think about adding chords to your tune. So I'm going to teach you very quickly just a little bit about what we call harmony, which is putting chords to it. Now we know, because I told you last lesson, that this section, section A, repeated section A, return of section A is in C major, no accidentals. What that means is it uses the notes of the C major scale. So if we just pop those in down here, I'm clicking and pointing. Okay, tap escape. So that is a C major scale. I've just done it in minims for sake of argument. Now, on each of these notes, you can build a chord. A 3-note chord called a triad. Okay? Now on Sibelius it's dead easy, because if we want to do that, we click on the note, and if we tap 3, it will add a third. 3 again, it will add another third. Same here. 3, 3, and it just adds the interval of third, and then we'll actually leave that one because it's the same one as that, really, but just up an octave. Now, this is really important because in any scale, the 7 chords in that scale all have specific characteristics, and we tend to, in traditional harmony, give them a number. Okay, so we call this, and generally speaking, we use Roman numerals. It's a traditional thing, I suppose, really. But anyway, let's put it in. We'll put it in like a dynamic. So we'll call that 1. It won't let me do that. We might have to put that in as text. I'll come on to that, don't worry. No, stop it, don't want that. I'm just going to one of these menus. You can put in lyrics, actually, way down the line we'll talk about lyrics, but for now, I'm just going to put some lyrics in here, underneath there. I'm going to call it 1, 2, 3. These are Roman numerals, if you don't know. 4, useful thing to learn. Not, never mind. Okay, tap escape. Right, so each chord built on the scale of C as a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they have different characteristics. So chords 1, 4, and 5 are all major chords in a major key, and they tend to be the most important ones, so that they're called rather poshly the primary triads. Okay, 1, 4, 5, and you can build up loads of things just using those chords. Okay, and then you've got 2, 3, and 6 are minor triads. Okay, and 7 is a bit in between the two. It's a diminished triad. So if we just played those chords, you can hear major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Just have a listen. Okay, so there we have it. Now what we're going to do, we're going to add a second part. We're going to keep it all in treble clef for now. So add or remove. And let's have a look here. What are we going to put in here? I suppose we could put a piano part in. We just want a treble clef part, but we'll stick with piano. We'll talk about that there. We're going to put that underneath. So we click down, and there we go. Right, so not bothered about the bass clef line at the moment. Okay, now, and I'm going to shrink that down a little bit. See this bit down here, you can actually shrink it down so you can see everything. Now, those are our chords again, so now it's easier to see. So what we have got to decide is which of these chords is going to fit this tune. Okay? Now, for now, let's just concentrate on doing 1 chord per bar and see if that works. Okay, so we're in the key of C, we've started on C, so really we need to use that C chord first. So that's chord 1. So we're going to stick that in. Okay. Now, let's have a listen to that bar with that chord in. Yeah, that's okay. Now, let's have a look at this second bar. We've got a G, an F, a D, and a B. Now, except for that F, the G, B, D is all the notes of our chord 5. So we can probably use that chord 5. Okay? Now, what I'm going to show you here, right from the word go, is a bit of what we call voice leading. Because one thing that makes a piece sound really stodgy is when you're jumping about all over the place. So if we click on that chord and we press R for repeat, tap escape. We just, if there are any notes that are the same between that C chord and that G chord, we might as well keep them the same. Particularly piano players, you don't want to be jumping around all over the place. So there's the G, yeah, and there's the G, so we don't need to alter that. Then the E isn't in that G chord, G, B, D, so we probably need to, the nearest note is that there. Oops, no, wrong one. And then we'll drop that down, and then the C can move to a B. Okay, so let's have a listen now. Yeah, that works okay. Now we've got a C, D, E, D. So probably we can get away with, let's see what it sounds like. We'll get away with just using the C and the E. So rather than put the notes in again, we'll just copy it. Click on the bar, hold down Alt, and copy it to there. Now here, we'll try another C. This is quite simple, this. We might need to look at it closer in another lesson, but let's have a listen for now. Yeah, that's okay. Now we know this phrase is the same, so we can repeat it. Don't forget you hold down Shift, Alt, and click at the beginning. And we also know it's the same for this. So there. Now all we've got to do next is get the chords for the A minor scale. Okay, so if we look here, let's just have a look. We're going to click and copy this to here, so it's a bit closer. Alt, there, and we're going to convert that to the A chord. So let's just drop it down a little bit. Now those are our chords, but we know that the G's are sharp, so let's have a look. Where are our G's? There. Now with a minor scale, slightly different, because obviously your first chord is minor. And so on. Slightly strange. Now bear with me on this. I mean, there are other things we can do with this, but let's keep it simple. So we know we've gone to A minor. So let's start with our chord one, which is an A, C. Now same thing again. What I would do, I would go on that last chord and I would tap R and repeat it, and then move the notes that need moving. Now you notice that the C and the E are the same. So C, E can stay there. G can just go up a note to A, and that's our first chord. Now we've got a G sharp in there, so it might be at a later stage we have to have more than one chord in that bar, but for now let's just repeat it. Now we've got B's and D's. We'll ignore those C's for a minute because they're sort of like in between those main beat notes, so we like what we call passing notes. So B and D, what does that suggest? Could be that chord 2, B and D in there. It could be that chord 7. For now, I would avoid chord 7 because it's a diminished chord, and until you know what you're doing, it can be very dodgy. Okay, so let's just have a look at maybe using that chord 2, see what it sounds like. So again, repeat, R for repeat, and what notes need to change to make it B, D, F? Right, well that can go down to a B, D, and a B and a G sharp. Now I think we are eventually going to have more than one chord in that bar, but for now, that B there, we're going to put a chord 5 in there, and I'll explain why we'll do that in a minute. And I'm going to make that a minim, because I don't think we're going to get away with having just one chord in that bar. So let's have a look. What notes do we need? E, G sharp, B. Well, we've got a B. Let's get that G sharp in. And let's get that D up to an E. Now because of that G sharp there, we're going to have to make that cover 3 beats. Now, this is a good opportunity to show you how to create a dotted note, because in effect we want a dotted minim. Down here, look, makes it a dotted minim. Tap escape, and then we're going to finish this phrase with the chord that we started with, but a crotchet this time. So we're going to go A, E, C. Alright, so let's have a listen to this, see if it will work relatively well for what we're doing. Okay, not bad. So let's listen to the whole thing now. I'm not doing anything too special at the moment. And there you go. So we've gone from, really, let's just stop that. We've gone from having a simple 16 bar tune with a modulation to A minor to doing some simple triadic harmony using mainly chords 1, 4, and well, we haven't used 4, have we? We've used sort of like chord 1. We've used chord 2 in the minor section. So we've only used a couple of chords, and already it's starting to sound quite nice. Okay, so what you really need to do now is to go away and experiment with this. Don't worry if you make mistakes. And one thing I've not covered, I realised the other night when I was thinking about this lesson, I've not told you what to do to get rid of something that you've done wrong. And it's dead easy. Say, for example, that chord is completely wrong. All you do, or a note is completely wrong, all you do is click on it, and if you tap on backspace, it goes. Now, if you inadvertently get rid of something and you want it back, there's 2 ways of doing it. You can go to Edit and undo delete, or the shortcut is hold down Command and tap Z and it comes back. Okay? Now, I hope you've enjoyed that. That's a little bit more complicated, but if you enjoyed it, please click on like, subscribe to my channel, Mr. G's Idiot's Guide to Composing and Arranging, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.